We saw that we only make a bracha on tzitzis during the day. Says the more that after Mariv, if one davens Mariv early before night, then one should not make a bracha on his tzitzis, even though it's still daytime. Technically, it's still the night of Yom Kippur. You should make sure to put the talis on. Right, we wear talis for Kol Nidre. You should make sure to put the talis on while it's still daytime and make a bracha. Right? Because we can't make a bracha even though we wear it there at night. On Yom Kippur we wear the talis at night. However, you should make sure to make the bracha during the day. Says the Mishnah, let's look at the bottom of the Mishnah. Okay. Mishnah of cotton Daled. B'tanis tibuk shalov shem talis b'mincha. Mishnah of cotton Daled. B'tanis tibuk shalov shem talis b'mincha. Yosef talis sheyagia lebaruchu. Me'achad shav ein loivshin hatalis. If people are wearing a talis during mincha on a talis tibuk, then they should take it off when they get to baruch of Mariv. If he continues wearing it into Mariv, it makes it look like he thinks that night is a time of tzitzis. He should take off his talis for Mariv. However, the sheikh tibur, the person who's davening, the sheikh tibur, if he's not wearing a malbush elyon, a jacket, then it's not covered at tibur, and therefore he should keep his talis on. Says the Mishnah of cotton hay. Anyone who's a sheikh tibur should wear talis. Someone who says also kaddish yosoim, he should also put on a talis. It says, we see this Indian the Mishnah was bringing down of someone who's representing the tzibur should put on a talis. It's to covered for the community, to honor the community. If he's doing a mitzvah in front of the whole Kehilla, in front of the whole shul, he should put on a talis to honor the tzibur, to honor the mitzvah he's doing. So if Kotten Vav, he's atev. On Yom Kippur we said he wears a talis at Mariv. Why do we wear talis at Mariv? There's an exception. Usually we said we don't wear talis at Mariv because it's nighttime. Night is not a nighttime of tzitzis. On Yom Kippur we do. Says the Mishnah of Kotten Vav, he's atev l'hidomis l'malochim, in order to be similar to malochim, shemutofim levonim. They are dressed in white. And therefore he shouldn't take it off until after Mariv of Motzei Yom Kippur. Right? So we wear it at the night of Leil Yom Kippur, when we at the beginning of Kippur we wear it at night, and also on Motzei Yom Kippur also we wear it into night, during the Mariv of Motzei Yom Kippur. So Kotten Zayin, there are 2 lines from the bottom. If he got to shul late on Yom Kippur and it's already night and he hasn't put his talis on, he can't make a bracha on the talis, because even though it's a beged yom, we mentioned according to the Rosh, seeing it as a garment that's worn by day, one makes a bracha on it, it's chayv and sits made a bracha even during the night, but according to the Rambam, one doesn't because it's now night time. And that's how we pass in terms of brachas, that one doesn't make a bracha at night time at all. So if he didn't put on his talis before Kol Nidre, or they start to Kol Nidre after it's already night, then he can't make a bracha, he puts it on without a bracha. The Mishnah now brings down a machloikes if it's after shkia, after sunset. This is the period of Ben Hashmoshes when it's Sophic night. Can one make a bracha on the talis after shkia or not? So first he brings down the opinion of the Mishnah that after shkia, during Ben Hashmoshes you can make a bracha ad tzeis hakechovim until the stars come out, to nightfall. V'tamud hala tzitzis lo yiksiv yom rak urisem oisoi mashma kozman shenuchal lirois. Shkia is the end of the day. Sunset is when it's the end of the day, but one can still see that it's still light outside. The Mogravam says that even though it's already now, it might be nighttime, it's after Shkia, however one can still see the tzitzis. And since it says in the Pasuk, one has to see the tzitzis, so as long as I can still see them by the natural light outside, I can make a bracha on it until nightfall when it's too dark to actually see the tzitzis. So he brings a machlokes, the Matei Fam is machmir. So you have a machlokes here, if shkia, because that shkia is the end of the day, once it's considered halachically, it's not day anymore, one can't make a bracha anymore. Or no, even though halachically may not be day, the thing is one can still physically see the tzitzis, therefore, by the natural light outside, therefore one can still make a bracha until nightfall. That's the machlokes. אך אם זה גוף הוא מסתפק עם כבר הגיע בין השמוש נר בוודאי יוכל לברך בלבוך את דעת התויץ הראש תקסוש עם חי בלילה ואגב בביאו מצד גם כן שיש זוין שם. The Mishabur says if he's not sure, he doesn't know if it's shki or not, he's unsure if the sun is set or not, then he can make a bracha. Right? So it sounds like the Mishabur is holding that if it's already sunset, so the sun has set, he shouldn't make a bracha. If he's unsure if the sun is set or not, he doesn't know what time shki is, and it's cloudy, he can't see if the sun is set, or the horizon is the western horizon is hidden from him. He doesn't know if it's sunset or not. He can make a bracha. Okay, if he knows for sure it's sunset, then he shouldn't make a bracha. That's something to be careful for on Yom Kippur, to make sure to put on his talis and make the bracha before the time of shkia, the time of sunset. Seif base. We're back up to the Shulchan Aruch. Seif base.
If you made the bracha on your talis and the shacharis before Erev Yom Kippur, and you had in mind that this was to cover the talis for the next 24 hours, let's say, could you put the talis on without a bracha and you've fulfilled because you made a bracha in the morning? Do you need to make a bracha?
Specifically had it in mind.
Yeah. Do you need to make a bracha, a second bracha during the day? Or actually, I guess it's the next day if you have that problem.
There's a long gap. We're talking about a long gap. We're talking about
it's a 15-hour gap, let's say.
But you put it on for the next day. You put it on for the next day.
Yeah. That's right.
It does need that additional bracha.
You're talking about where you're putting it on?
She says you put it on in the morning.
In the morning, yeah.
Coming to the evening, still daytime. That's the bracha you said in the morning.
I think because it's such a long gap, I don't think it would help. I'd have to look it up to be sure.
You're required to make a
bracha.
bracha.
Yeah. Let's look at this base. So dinim afal pisha odom yoshem bohem baboiker, ein matinim bohem tzitzis. Sheets, right? Sheets on the bed sheets. Even if a person's sleeping in them at night, there's definitely no question, right? What if someone's sleeping with them in the morning? He wakes up in the morning. It's already night. It's already daybreak. He doesn't get up before the crack of dawn. It's already daytime. He's still lying with his sheets. His sheets are four corners. So does he have to put tzitzis on them? So the Shulchan Aruch, ein matinim b'hem tzitzis. One doesn't put on tzitzis on the bed sheets. Let's find out why not. Everyone's breathing a sigh of relief. Let's find out.
These guys lying in bed thinking, what do I think about the bed sheets?
Let's find out. The reason why it seems strange to us is because we're coming after this halacha has been paskened, right?
That's right.
If it would have been paskened that one does put on tzitzis on bed sheets, then it wouldn't be so strange to us. We'd be used to it.
That's right.
Says the Mishnah verse of Cotton Ches. So why not? Says the Mishnah verse of Cotton Ches. It says ikru tashmish on balaylo, because the use is mainly at night. Even though one does wear them for an hour or two in the morning, depending on what time one gets up, and depending on what season it is. In the summer, one wears it for a longer time during after sunrise. And because the main use is at night, mikri is called a ksus laila. It's called the garment of the night. This reason, though, that it's called the night garment, only helps according to the Rosh. Because according to the Rambam, we said even the night garment, if we wear it during the day, it is chayv and tzitzis. So according to the Rosh, we've explained why we don't need it on bed sheets, because it's a night garment. According to the Rambam, it's a problem, because even though it's a night garment, we're wearing it during the day. A different reason to make it pot even according to the Rambam. יש להם עוד טעם לטעם, משום דלא הרחיבה התורה רק דרך מלבוש, או דרך עיטוף, לא דרך עלה בעלמא. Others say that the reason why it's potter is because the one only has to put tzitzis on if one's wearing the garment, or wrapping oneself in the garment. One just covers oneself in the garment, and puts it on top of him, one doesn't have to put on tzitzis. Some argue, some hold that even if one's not wearing the garment, even if it wasn't even on top of him, even if one puts it as a sheet underneath him, one still has to put on tzitzis. The koshken derech halo, and koshken if the bed sheet is on top of him. The Mogravom holds that with bed sheets one should make one of the corners round. One should round off one of the corners, so therefore one hasn't got any problem. But it sounds like from the Mogravom that one only needs to be machmir with woolen sheets. And the Pri Megadol explains, because we have many sfeikas here. According to the Rambam, according to the Rosh, it doesn't need tzitzis at all because it's ksus laila. It's a night garment, set aside for the night. We have also here the opinion that holds that it's not a malbish, one's not wearing it. One only has to put on tzitzis on something one wears, not when someone one covers it. So we already have two sveikas, we have a number of sveikas. So if it's semer, which is derais according to everyone, if it's a woolen garment, wool we said is chayv and tzitzis according to everyone. So therefore, one should to be machmir to make it round. However, if we're talking about other materials, which we mentioned is a machlokes if it's chayv and tzitzis miderais and midrabanan, and we have all these additional doubts, all the additional sveikas, one doesn't have to make it round. So the Mogen Avraham holds that for woolen bed sheets, one should woolen blankets, one should round off the corners. This is what the Mishnah Berurah ends off. The Mishnah Berurah one should round off for woolen. The Aruch HaShulchan holds that one doesn't need it at all. The Aruch HaShulchan says that the ikkur is according to the opinion that one only puts on tzitzis on garments that one wears, not on things one lies on or covers oneself with. That's how the Aruch HaShulchan paskins. That one doesn't need to round off any corners, even if it's woolen. There are stories of tzaddikim that were known to round things off. The Chazon Ish rounded off his bed sheet. In general, we're knowing not to round off bed sheets. One can as a chumrah from wishes. The Mishnah Berurah holds by woolen bed sheets. The Aruch HaShulchan holds that one doesn't need. Says back to the Shulchan Aruch, Seif Gimel. Seif Gimel. Yeah, back to the Shulchan Aruch, Seif Gimel. When can one make a brach on tzitzis? In the morning, when you can recognize the difference between the tcheles and the lovan, the blue and the white. If one hasn't got tcheles on the tzitzis, as most people don't nowadays, then there's the time when one can determine between these two colors. When it's light enough, then one can determine between these two colors.
When is this comment made historically? It's interesting because it's a very long time people didn't wear.
Yeah. This comment comes from the time of the Mishnah. This is already a Mishnah that says it.
I see.
So we're going back a long way. Okay. The first record we have of Torah Shabbat Peh already writes this determination.
Right. Okay.
So when is this? If we look at the Mishnah Berurah, let's look at the Mishnah Berurah straight away. So it's called Tes, Mishnah Yaakov v'chula. V'hu azman de Mishiras Chavei v'hogogil imo iktas b'richuk daled amos. The Chazal give us a different way of determining this at the same time, which is when there's enough light outside that he can see someone who knows quite well, a friend who knows quite well, from a distance of 4 amos, from about 2 meters, he can already recognize him. Yaakov, you can recognize him. And nowadays it's very difficult to go by this determination because we have street lights outside.
Right.
And unless you have a power cut, you'll never get to this to be able to test this out. Right. The way nowadays on the calendars, the way they determine it is the amount of light outside. This is clearly determined by how much light there is outside. The amount of light outside depends on how low the sun is beneath the horizon. Mm-hmm. Which is measured in degrees. Right. The degrees, and the amount of degrees the sun appears beneath the horizon. On our luach here, which is the standard luach, which is in most places around Eretz Yisrael they use this luach, adapted for the various different cities. And they use it as the statistic of 11.5 degrees. The time given is for 11.5, and the sun is 11.5 degrees beneath the horizon. That's the time that they determined that there's enough light outside to recognize between tchelis and love and white and blue, and to recognize someone from distance of 4 hours when there's no other source of light. Right. It ranges over the year between about 50 to 60 minutes before sunrise. Right. Okay, that's the time when one can make a bracha on tzitzis. Okay, let's go back to the Ramah. Hagor says the Ramah. The Ramah now brings a different opinion. The Ramah brings an opinion that one can make a bracha from daybreak, which is earlier, much earlier, from when the first rays of sun come up above the horizon, one can already make a bracha. The Ramah says the Ramah says that we know to do this. If one puts on the talis before the time when one can make a bracha, for example during the time of slichus, he shouldn't make a bracha, and then when it's light enough, then he should feel the tzit and move this around a bit and make a bracha. Says the Mishnah Berurah Koson Yud. The Gro Paskins like the Shulchan Aruch, not like the Ramah, that one does not make a bracha from daybreak, from Alasei Shachar, one only makes a bracha from this time of Mishe Yakir, when you can recognize between white and blue. Pri Megadim says if it's really difficult, it's a difficult situation, one's pressed for time, and one puts it on before the time of Mishe Yakir, before you can recognize between the colors, he does like the Ramah, then we don't tell him off. One shouldn't do it. One should definitely not do it lechatchila. If one did it, we don't tell off someone who made a bracha before Mishe Yakir. However, one shouldn't do it. Even if one makes the bracha before Amud HaShachar, one doesn't need to make another bracha. Right? Because even if one made a bracha at night, he's also according to the Rosh, who holds that on a garment which is worn predominantly by day, one makes a bracha if one wears it even at night. Therefore, if one made a bracha even before daybreak, one should not make another bracha. Okay? So the way it turns out is lechatchila one should not put on his talis before the time of Mishe Yakir. This time we mentioned for one can recognize between light and blue. And this is very difficult in certain countries in the winter, when it's quite late, when many minyanim, if not most minyanim, are before this time. And therefore they should have the time should be worked out beforehand. It should be very clear, and they shouldn't put on their talis beforehand, preferably. So therefore, even if they have to start davening beforehand, and they start davening without a talis, we're going to see later it's the same halacha with tefillin. And then at the point of the tefillin, when it's possible for them to make a bracha, then they put it on and make a bracha. We'll see when we get to Hilchos Tfilas HaShachar at what stages one can still make a bracha. If it's during Pesukei Zimra, if it's between Pesukei Zimra after Yishtabach, one can make a bracha on the talis. When one should make it afterwards, we'll see when we get to the halachas of Birkas HaShachar when one can make a bracha. But as concerns our halacha of Mishe Yakir, one shouldn't make the bracha before Mishe Yakir, preferably. If one did make it, if one did make a bracha before this time, we don't tell him off. But the eved, even if he made the bracha before sunrise, before daybreak, before even the first rays came above the horizon, but the eved one doesn't make another bracha. Okay. Tomorrow is a minute test. We may finish. We did the whole page, and we have 4 pages left in 3 days. I think we'll be tight. I don't think we'll make it.